was my very first impression of it, and I think you can tell by my face I was super surprised about the burst of mint into my mouth. And it's definitely not the kind of mint that we're used to in the good old toothpaste, because again, it was like a little bit chalky and you would have to really bite into it and make sure it's a powder before you start brushing. But overall, it's okay. I'm like, my breath feels pretty fresh, but it feels like there's some chalky residue. Feels like there's some chalky residue right now that I'm gonna have to do another brush over to try and get it out. But again, you always brush twice anyway, so. Hey, it's Nina, and I've got something to say about these Lush tooth tablets. There you go. There are just a few buckets of things I want to talk about, and they are the four main things. The number one thing is I'm going to talk about the cost. The second thing is the user experience of it. The third would be the, I guess, effectiveness. And finally, would I recommend it? Number one, it's the cost. So the obvious thing is it's pretty pricey, I would say, given that in this particular container, it's actually $13 approximately, versus a normal tube of toothpaste is actually about $3. And when you really get down into it, what does it actually break out to? So the normal toothpaste tube is $3, and in my research it says that a toothpaste can actually extend to approximately 3 months. So if we figure out how many usage that is, so that's what, 3 months times 30 days times 2 times of the day you have to use it, that's about 180 times that you can get out of a toothpaste tube. And what that translates into is actually 0.016 cents. So less than 2 cents per squeeze, essentially. Versus the Lush tooth tablets, which came up to about $12 a bottle. And in it, I counted out 95 tablets. So that actually comes up to about 1.5 months of usage. So we're already getting half of the length of time that we can use it for way more in terms of cost, for 4 times the cost. And per each tablet, it's actually 12 cents per tablet. So again, pretty pricey, but what was the plus about this is that you can actually finish the container and then return to Lush. So therefore it is actually a more eco-friendly method of brushing your teeth and keeping up with your hygiene. So that's the cost. So we already know that it's an expensive option. The second thing is I actually wrote down a list of things as to what I have experienced, whether I liked it or not. As you can see in one of the first clips of me brushing my teeth, I was super surprised by the major shock of mint the moment you bit into it. It was just really, really minty, and then you also need to chew it into a powdery form for it to be actually effective. So imagine just chewing a really strong piece of gum that just turns into like those rocket candies. You kind of want to swallow it, but you don't want to swallow it, and you're also overwhelmed with the fact that a tiny little mint bomb just exploded in your mouth. Well, that's one thing. I also actually enjoyed that it was super foamy, because I felt like, I don't know, this could be fully marketing. Maybe the toothpaste doesn't actually need to be foamy for it to be effective, but I felt like my mouth was going through a bubble bath every time, and I thought it was a great feeling. The other thing that I noticed is you're gonna be brushing your teeth for a little bit longer than usual if you're using the tablet option, because I find that after brushing my teeth a bit, and then rinsing it out, I still felt like there was some kind of chalky film residue around my teeth. So you would really need to go into it a little bit longer on your second round to get all of that texture off. But hey, maybe that's why my teeth were extra clean this week. I noticed that there was no like residual plaque or anything, buildup or gingivitis. Not that I had it before, but you know, after a week, if it really didn't work, I probably would have had issues at this point. So no issues so far. And one other note is probably just my own preference, is that it's actually travel friendly after you've counted out the number of tablets that you want to use during that trip. Because you can probably put it into a smaller container and then take it in your pack, or you can actually keep it in its container. And what I like about it is that it doesn't get caught on the netting that most travel kits have. So that's actually a little bit of a detail that I liked. Third thing is, how effective was it? And as I said in the second bucket, it was pretty effective, probably because I need to brush it a little longer to get that chalky texture off. And the second thing is, it was pretty minty, not gonna lie. Didn't have complaints about my breath, so I guess that's a plus, unless people are really nice to me this week. But I just felt like I had like a nice winter breath coming out, like Elsa from Let It Go. Was it? No, Elsa from Frozen, my gosh. And the fourth thing is, would I recommend it? And honestly, I'm kind of on the fence about it, given its high price point, but eco-friendliness. So let's settle in between. I would recommend you to incorporate it into your year's worth of toothbrushing. So maybe once you run out of your toothpaste in the conventional tube, then you go to Lush, and then you switch back to the tube, and then you go back to Lush again. So at least it limits wastage in a way if you can't afford to always buy a $12 bottle for 1.5 months. Because you know what? Hey, maybe you're a student, you got student loans to pay. I totally get you. Anyway, so that's my review of the Lush tablet after trying it for a full week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.